Imagine being so powerful, so wealthy, that you believe loyalty comes only with a paycheck. Now imagine walking into a quiet home one night, only to find one of your lowest-paid employees tenderly feeding soup to your frail, Alzheimer's-stricken mother. That moment would shatter everything you thought you knew about people, and change you forever. Stay with me, because this story will move you in ways you didn't expect. Richard Hale was one of the wealthiest men in the city. A billionaire whose empire stretched from towering real estate to global tech. To the world, he was powerful, untouchable. Yet behind his walls of glass and steel, there was a private sorrow he never shared. His mother, Margaret, the woman who once read him bedtime stories and pushed him toward greatness, was now slipping away, bit by bit, into the fog of Alzheimer's. Margaret still lived in the Hale family mansion, watched over by rotating nurses and staff. But Richard barely visited. Each time he saw her vacant eyes, his heart ached with helplessness. So he drowned himself in work, convincing himself that providing money was enough. One rainy evening, after a cancelled meeting, Richard decided to stop by unexpectedly. As he entered the side door of his mother's house, the scent of homemade soup filled the air. Strange, none of the hired staff cooked anything beyond simple meals. Quietly, he walked toward the kitchen. There, bent over the stove, was Daniel, one of his lowest-ranked employees, a warehouse worker in his mid-30s. Richard froze. What was Daniel doing here? And then, he saw something that pierced his soul, Daniel carrying a bowl to Margaret, carefully helping her sip while softly telling her a story. She giggled faintly, her eyes alive with recognition, as though she remembered being young again. Richard had never seen his mother so at peace. And it wasn't because of money, nurses, or fancy treatments. It was because someone cared. Richard confronted Daniel later that night. "Why are you here? How do you even know my mother?" His tone was sharp, but beneath it was confusion, maybe even shame. Daniel hesitated, then spoke honestly. "Sir, I've been staying late at the mansion after my shifts. I noticed your mother alone. Sometimes the nurses don't sit with her, and she gets scared. My own mom, she died of Alzheimer's 2 years ago. I couldn't do much for her then. But maybe, just maybe, I can do something for your mother now." Richard felt a lump form in his throat. This man, earning barely enough to survive, had given his time, his compassion, without expecting a single cent. He had given what Richard, with all his billions, had failed to give, presence. Over the next weeks, Richard found himself returning more often. Each time, Margaret's face lit up as Daniel read her favorite childhood books or played her old records. For the first time in years, Richard joined in. Slowly, the billionaire who thought loyalty was bought realized it was love that sustained the soul. One evening, as Margaret drifted to sleep with Daniel humming a lullaby, Richard pulled him aside. "Daniel, I owe you more than money. You reminded me who my mother really is. And you reminded me who I should be." His voice cracked. "From today, you're not just my employee. You're family." Tears filled Daniel's eyes. He didn't do this for reward. But in that moment, he knew that kindness had reshaped a powerful man's heart. This story is not about wealth or status. It's about compassion. A billionaire with all the resources in the world couldn't give his mother what a humble employee gave freely: time, empathy, and love. Sometimes, the richest hearts are found in the poorest pockets. And sometimes, one simple act of kindness changes not just a life, but a legacy.